Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wahoos Weekly, your weekly in-depth look at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, both on the field and off the field. I'm Eric Bramer. I'm the broadcaster for the club, and I'm joined here by Charlie Hobart, my new broadcast partner for the 2026 season. Charlie, this is going to be my 9th year in the minor leagues and my 5th year in Pensacola. I'm excited for opening day. I can't imagine how excited you are for your first opening day.
Oh, I just can't wait. I'm excited to be part of a club in a way that I've never been before, and of all clubs, I'm so happy it's the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. I've loved it here.
Well, with opening day coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about this year's team. We've got some knowns, some unknowns, but we know one thing: it's going to be an exciting 2026 season for your Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Let's talk first about the manager, Nelson Prada. We've gotten to know Nelson a little bit, those of us who have been around the club, because he was the manager last year for a club that finished 69-69 and had a whole lot of exciting styles of play to offer. Nelson Prada coming back for his second year. He's one of just a handful of minor league managers with 700 or more wins. What does he bring to this club that a novice manager can't?
I mean, simply put, he brings player-coach mentality and great leadership. I mean, he does what all coaches need to do, but some coaches can't do. He knows how to connect to those players in a way that is going to go by the wayside of some minor league coaches. And it doesn't bother him. He loves getting to know the guys. He loves being part of the guys, and he's a great leader in that way.
A good manager can go a long way, but you need someone to actually play the games for you, and that's where the roster comes in. We expected maybe a few weeks ago, before we knew what our roster was going to look like, that we'd have a lot of returning guys from last year's team. And while that is the case, with off-season trades and some free agent acquisitions, there are some new faces as well. Some pretty big trades in the off-season that the Marlins made with the Yankees and the Cubs, and we're going to see some of the minor league players they got in return here in Double-A this year.
Absolutely. 3 of those players coming from the New York Yankees in the Ryan Weathers trade. Miami Marlins president of Baseball Ops said it was a package he just could not pass up. Brendan Jones, Dylan Lewis, and Dylan Hasso all joining the Pensacola Blue Wahoos this year. You got a couple outfielders, Dylan Hasso, a corner infielder. I think they're going to bring a lot of spark, a lot of pop, and a lot of speed to this team.
And then Christian Hernandez will likely be the starting shortstop for most games for the Blue Wahoos, at least to begin the season. We're going to see some other infielders get in the mix as well, but Christian Hernandez coming over from the Cubs in the Edward Cabrera trade. That's an intriguing trade because it might immediately pay major league dividends with Owen Casey already making an impact. But on the minor league side, a couple years down the line, we might look back at Christian Hernandez maybe being a big piece of that return.
Well, absolutely. And Hernandez, he had a good year at High A last year in the Cubs organization. He's got a little bit of pop. He's got a lot of speed, stole around 50 bases last year, and he plays great defense up the middle. It's interesting, Eric, because the Wahoos already have a decent field up the middle with guys like Gage Miller. Like, how is he going to slot into this team in the field?
Usually those things kind of take care of themselves over the course of a long season. Ian Lewis Jr. is also going to be part of the middle infield mix for the Wahoos this year. The Marlins are no stranger to win-win trades. A couple years ago, they sent Pablo Lopez to the Twins for Luis Arraez. Both the Twins and the Marlins made the playoffs based on those players' contributions. And then they sent Arraez to the Padres and got a couple of very useful players back in return, including Jacob Marcy, who's probably going to be the everyday center fielder for the Marlins for years to come, while Arraez had an outstanding season as well with the Padres. What do you think we're going to look at down the line in terms of these offseason trades and what it might mean for the Marlins as they develop their next contending team?
It's always, like you said, it's always hard to say now. I mean, if you're the Chicago Cubs, Edward Cabrera just had his first start for the Cubs, 6 innings shutout ball. So I think it's paying off in one respect for sure. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Owen Casey coming over from the Chicago Cubs, hitting a big walk-off 2-run homer in the first series of the year, getting the Marlins off to a 3-0 start. So I guess if we're talking about immediately, yes, it's paying off in both respects in a big way. But the thing that the Marlins are going to have to deal with that the Cubs don't is they got the minor league package. And that's always a big risk because minor league talent doesn't always pay off. It's going to be interesting to see how Christian Hernandez does in his first season at Double-A and see how he develops as a player. But it's very exciting to watch, especially when you got those young guys.
Edward Cabrera, a former Blue Wahoo, and Owen Casey, a former Wahoos killer from his time with the Tennessee Smokies. who the Blue Wahoos played in the championship series back-to-back years in 2022 and 2023. On the position player side, of course, there's more to life in minor league baseball than the prospect list, but a ranked prospect who's coming back after a breakout 2025 season is Fenwick Trimble. Sounds like he'll be getting right field reps. We've seen him play center field and play it well last year, but Fenwick Trimble kind of surprised some people in a breakout season last year. When he was healthy, he was pretty impactful.
Yeah, he got a lot, like I was saying earlier, got a lot of good pop in that right-handed bat. He plays a very good outfield. He spent a little bit of his offseason this year in the Arizona Fall League with Pensacola Blue Wahoos starter Karson Milbrandt, and he did some really good stuff out in Arizona, so he's been staying sharp. If he missed some time last season, he gained it right back in Arizona, and Trimble's really ready to contribute in a big way to this team this year.
Another guy who was really impactful when healthy but dealt with some injuries down the stretch in 2025 is Blue Wahoos catcher Ryan Ignafo. Now, since the Blue Wahoos became affiliated with the Marlins in 2021, we've seen several big league caliber catchers, from Nick Fortes to Will Banfield. Paul McIntosh hopes to make it to the big leagues. And then Joe Mack is probably going to be in the big leagues before too long, hopefully playing every day for the Miami Marlins. But Ryan Ignafo batted well above 300, and while batting average doesn't necessarily mean everything in this day and age, when he got those hits was pretty important. He was about as clutch as they come.
Well, absolutely. And Ignafo, I mean, batting average doesn't mean everything, but the guy hit home runs too. He had 7 home runs, 8 home runs in the season. Back in Beloit, he hit 2 grand slams in one game. So Ignafo, if he's going to be hitting home runs, you're going to be taking the average as well. He had that 322 average just since coming up to Pensacola, and he plays a steady defense behind the plate. Ignafo, he's going to give you innings, and he's going to get on base.
On the defensive side, yeah, he's caught a lot of these guys in the minor leagues, including tonight's opening day starter and our upcoming guest in this episode, Karson Milbrandt. That familiarity has to really be useful if you're a catcher, going through different levels and facing so many different pitchers.
I mean, absolutely. And the minor leagues are tough, man. And when you're moving from team to team to team, and then you're on the trading deadline, you're getting moved to other, it's a lot. So for Ignafo to be able to work so closely with Milbrandt and vice versa, Milbrandt with Ignafo, it does a great deal for both those guys, being able to call a good game if you're the catcher, being able to throw a good game if you're the pitcher, and really understanding where the other is at. Ignafo talking about watching Milbrandt bloom recently and learning how to fill up the strike zone, because we all know he has electric stuff. He's got a big fastball, but he's been bringing other pitches into the mix: slider, changeup, curveball. He's working on a cutter even. So Milbrandt and Ignafo having that battery mate, that's going to be a big deal for the season.
I'm not going to ask you about Karson Milbrandt and what he's going to try to accomplish here tonight, because I'm going to ask him myself here in a few minutes. But I will ask you what you'll be looking for from up top, because you've read a lot about Karson Milbrandt, but you haven't seen him pitch in person. Heck, I've only seen him pitch twice in person at the end of last year. So what will you be looking for, and what should the fans be looking for tonight out of Karson Milbrandt?
Well, command is number one for me. He's got the stuff, as we mentioned, but it's hard to control sometimes, and the walks will get up. That was the main issue we saw in the Arizona Fall League, where he pitched this year with the Mesa Solar Sox. He had high strikeout stuff, and he had really electric stuff, but he was allowing too many free passes. So number one is going to be the command. And two, let's see where that fastball gets up to. He's averaging 93 to 95, but we've seen him touch up to 98 to 99 miles an hour. Everybody wants to throw 100 these days. We'll see if that's really a goal for Karson this season, or if he's just letting his body do the talking. But command and the fastball, I'm really intrigued to see. And then if we're throwing a third thing in, that developed gyro, slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. Anytime a pitcher can add a new pitch to their mix, they just become that much more dangerous. So especially working with Ignafo and having that cutter, it's going to be really exciting to see what Karson does this year.
One thing you should not be looking forward to tonight, going deep into the game, because it's early in the year, and as much as you see pitch limits in the major leagues, it's even more strict in the minor leagues. These guys are just getting into their form and stretching themselves out. A guy like Karson Milbrandt, who has missed time due to injury as well, no doubt that will be a conversation. We've got some new guys in the rotation, guys that we saw just a little bit of, like Milbrandt and Will Schomburg. One guy who's back here in Pensacola for his 3rd season is Jacob Miller. And I talked with Jacob just a little bit ago, and he said that he was in the offseason working on his fastball, and he has his fastball up to 96 miles per hour. So that adds a new dynamic to Jacob Miller that we saw the last couple of years. A new fastball makes him a very different pitcher.
Absolutely, and you know, he's given the innings. He led the team in innings last year, and he already led the team in strikeouts last year. So to add a 96 to 97 mile an hour fastball to a guy who was already leading your squad in Ks, that's going to be a big deal. And if he can keep that velocity throughout the season while giving the Wahoos some good innings, I think he's going to be a huge part of the starting rotation, and hopefully for him, moving up the ladder.
Let's turn our attention towards the bullpen. One guy that we were both surprised to see on this Double-A pitching staff is Nigel Belgrave, because he was outstanding for the Blue Wahoos last year, and he got that promotion to Triple-A, helping the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp win a national championship. But he's back here at least to begin. I think the understanding is that if he does what he did last year, he won't be here for long. But while he's here, that's a pretty good arm to have at the back end of the bullpen.
Absolutely. ERA well under 3, gave him a lot of good innings in late relief last year. It was good for him, I'm sure, to go up to AAA and get a couple innings at a little bit of a higher level. But these organizations, they're always looking to protect their players' arms. They're always looking to do what's right for them. So getting him back down to AA, making sure he's really ready for that jump to AAA, I think it's a good move by the Marlins organization.
And before we send things to break, we'll talk a little bit about some guys who aren't yet on this roster but might be in Pensacola throughout the summer. I think the big name that everyone's waiting on is Iva Arquette, who suffered a preseason injury and will be, when he's healthy, starting the season in High A Beloit. But Iva Arquette, we've heard a lot about him, and last year, first pro season, things went pretty well.
Absolutely. He was the #1 pick for the Marlins a season ago, and with what he did on the field in High A, I don't think they're going to have any problem translating that to at least AA, and then we'll see going forward.
We've spoken so much about the Blue Wahoos, we should at least mention tonight's opponent, Montgomery Biscuits, Tampa Bay Rays affiliate. Montgomery, just perennial playoff contenders. Every year for more than a decade, they've been in the playoff field in the Southern League. But last year, yet again, they came up short. I can tell that those fans are hungry for a championship. What do they need to do to get over that hump? They're going to have to get past the Blue Wahoos, for one.
I mean, listen to Kevin Bowles. He's one of the winningest managers of all time in minor league ball. He's led them to 2 straight championships, even if they did come up short. I think just listen to what he says. Read the whiteboard. Run the bases the way he says. He's got a very good idea of how to win ball games at a minor league level. I see no problem with his strategies.
As a South Division opponent, the Blue Wahoos will be facing the Biscuits plenty this year, including the first 3 to open up the season. Before you step out of that chair and Karson Milbrandt steps into it, I want to get your prediction for how tonight's game is going to go on opening night.
Give me a Wahoos win. I think Milbrandt, like you said, not going to go a ton of innings because we're limiting the innings early on, but he's going to give us a good performance. The bullpen is rested, rearing to go, and then those new faces coming in from the Yankees. We'll see what Brendan Jones is able to do, and we'll see who's even getting the start at the corner infield. Is it going to be Snyder? Is it going to be Hasso? Either way, I'm super excited to see.
I'm super excited as well. We will find out before too long, but when we come back, we speak with the opening day starting pitcher for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, Karson Milbrandt, here on Wahoos Weekly.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if auto owners make sense for you.
Keep going. More. No, stop!
Gilmarine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. And we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gilmarine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Get a fresh cut and a fresh start at AHW Barber Academy. We focus on growth. Join us at 3822 North 9th Avenue, Pensacola, for a top-notch $6 haircut while supporting aspiring barbers. Our students learn in a real-world setting, guided by experienced professionals to become licensed barbers. Need a cut or a new career? Visit AHW Barber Academy or call 850-692-9298.
Empire Truck Sales, located at 2255 West Detroit Boulevard in Pensacola, is your Freightliner, Western Star, Detroit Diesel, and Cummins dealer for Northwest Florida. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., providing sales, service, and parts. Empire Truck Sales is also your Oasis dealer for Freightliner custom chassis RV and motorhome repairs. Running I-10 will get you in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wahoos Weekly. I'm Eric Bramer, broadcaster for the Blue Wahoos, and our special guest on this special opening night episode is the opening day starting pitcher for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, Karson Milbrandt. Karson, welcome back to Pensacola.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got a taste of Pensacola late last year. You made 2 starts. What did that do for you heading into the offseason to just get a handle on where you knew you'd likely be spending most of your 2026 season?
Yeah, it's super nice to get your feet wet. You know, it's heading to the Arizona Fall League, so most of those guys are pretty talented. So to get some talented hitters in Double-A and then go straight into that, it was huge.
Arizona Fall League, for those who don't know, is essentially a prospect showcase that takes place during the MLB postseason. It's in Arizona, which is a very offense-friendly environment, to say the least. And the fact that you had even decent results in that league is a testament to the success that you had. What did you learn about yourself in the AFL?
Yeah, you know, just trusting your stuff, going at the hitters and letting yourself play.
Let's go back to the Beloit Skycarp, where you spent most of the 2025 season. You were pitching in cold weather early, and you finally got to enjoy some warm weather as it got into the beautiful summer months in Wisconsin. But how did you progress through the 2025 season? Because the numbers look pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of, you know, I started the year on the IL and then built back up. So it's kind of getting those innings in, trusting the stuff, going at the hitters, like I said, and then just letting the stuff work.
I know it was probably a challenge for you. You were excited to head up to Double-A at the end of the season, but you also left Beloit just as they were clinching their playoff spot, and then you got to follow from afar as they played a few playoff games. What was that like to get the promotion but know that most of your teammates were having fun spraying champagne up in Beloit?
Yeah, you know, you wish you could be there. You spent most of the year there, and then, but it was nice to follow along with that. Fortunately, they came up short. Wish I could have been there, but you know, it was a good year.
Let's go back to the beginning. You grew up in the Kansas City area. You grew up a Royals fan. And if I think back, okay, Karson Milbrandt, minus about 11 years, you were in prime baseball fan age to watch the Royals win the World Series.
I was.
That had to have been a lot of fun.
It was awesome. I think my favorite part was probably getting to skip school to go to the parade.
I mean, that's every kid's favorite part, right?
It's awesome.
Who was your favorite player back in those days?
Probably Lorenzo Cain.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good name to have. How about on the pitching side? Who did you kind of model your game after?
Probably James Shields. When I was kind of growing up watching the Royals, I also had Zach Greinke, who's kind of an oddball, but awesome to watch.
Yeah, nothing wrong with being an oddball as long as you can deliver the results, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so Kansas City Royals fan growing up. You're also, and more people are finding out about this because MLB wants to make a big deal out of multi-sport athletes. You were a pretty darn good basketball player in high school.
I tried to be.
How good? Could you have gone D1 if you think you had devoted your time to basketball rather than baseball?
Possibly. Probably D2.
Okay.
Maybe D1.
Nothing wrong with D2.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you dunk a basketball?
I can dunk. Pretty
Okay.
easily.
You still can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might have to get that on camera at some point this year if it doesn't invalidate like an insurance policy with the Marlins. You had an opportunity to attend college. Pretty good college and a pretty good baseball program. Describe to me that decision to, rather than go to college, go pro.
Yeah, you know, you're going to the Marlins. You get drafted by the Marlins. You know, they have a pretty good track record of developing pitchers. So I thought you couldn't go wrong anyway, but I'm super happy with the decision I made.
Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that recruitment process go? What did they see in you, and how early did they reach out?
Well, for most of my recruitment, I was kind of low-key. I was actually committed to Mizzou my junior year, and then decommitted from Mizzou. Started blowing up a little bit, area codes, Team USA, stuff like that. And then, yeah, they reached out, and I just couldn't say no to them.
Well, the Marlins do have a pretty good track record of developing talent on the pitching side. A lot of them have come through Pensacola over the years. Who in the Marlins clubhouse, this is coming off of spring training, where you're all together thrown into one room, who have you kind of leaned on as a mentor who's been through what you're about to go through?
I thought it was pretty cool to just, I didn't really talk to him much, but Sandy, you know, he's just, the way he goes about his business is super cool to watch, and you don't even need to say something to him. You can just kind of just learn from it, you know?
There's more to your game than what a prospect writer can put on their prospect profile. But the book on you is that you've always had great stuff, but sometimes you've struggled with your command. That's something that I know you really tightened up last year, and you're looking to tighten up again this year. How have you made those improvements gradually over time?
I think you just started in catch play. In high school, you kind of go out there, do some arm circles, throw it with the buddies. You're out there giggling and stuff. But kind of just locking in on that, making sure you're hitting the chest every time and taking it really seriously.
If you don't mind me asking you, I'd like you to show me your pitch grips, because that's something that I think young fans always are interested in, even your contemporaries, people your age who want to know how you get the results you do. Show me your primary fastball.
All right, so here we got the heater.
That's a four-seam fastball.
Four-seam fastball. Then we got the kick change, kind of right here.
And the kick change, your natural throwing motion, you want to keep it to look like a fastball or a breaking ball, but it does kind of tumble out of your hand,
Correct.
Almost as if you're pushing your palm outward.
Yeah.
And the kick change, it's kind of the trendy new pitch, right?
It is, yeah.
So whose kick change did you model that kick change after?
Our pitching director, Bill, just kind of put it in my hand and didn't really model after anyone, just kind of found it was comfortable in the pressure and stuff, and then just throw it like a heater.
What do you got for breaking ball?
We got the little gyro cutter thing, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. And then sweepers right here. And then curveball is kind of the same, but different spot.
So you throw a sweeper and a curveball.
Correct.
If you've got a 2-strike count on someone, and, again, Montgomery Biscuits, do not watch this. But if you have a 2-strike count on someone, what is your go-to pitch to really get it by them and get a swing and miss?
I feel like I got all three working right now. So any one of them.
How about the next thing that you're working on? Are you looking to add anything this year, or are you looking to refine what you already have?
Just kind of refining what I have. Yeah, getting in the zone more often, and then when I need to get out of the zone, getting out of the zone.
Something that a lot of pitchers don't really think about until they get to Double-A is controlling the running game. The Blue Wahoos themselves stole 200 bases last year. Beloit stole 300 some. It's something that the Marlins have done quite well against their opponents, but it's something that, especially here in Double-A this year, with only one disengagement or pickoff per plate appearance, you're going to be facing a lot of runners on the bases. How much of a focus has that been in spring training, and how much of a focus will it be moving into the season?
Yeah, it's been pretty big. In the backfields, we've had clocks out there, so just kind of working off the clock with the new rule and picking a time to throw and staying consistent with it.
You're a big part of controlling the running game. Your pitcher, or rather your catcher, is a big part of controlling the running game. And Ryan Ignafo is someone that you're not just throwing to for the first time on opening night. You've thrown to him for a couple years.
I have.
Yeah, that's got to be comfortable, familiar, everything that a pitcher-catcher relationship should be.
Yeah, he knows how I work. I know how he works, so it's nice.
How about the whole idea, and it kind of got wider attention last year, of the catchers not calling the pitches? I'm not asking you for your opinion on it, but how has it changed the way that you communicate with your catcher, knowing that that pitch call is actually coming from your pitching coach that you had that pregame meeting with?
Yeah, it doesn't really change my thoughts much. If he puts down something I don't like, I can obviously shake it, but you can tell it kind of takes some pressure off of him. He's not back there thinking, he's just working on controlling the run game.
I want to talk a little bit off the field about your experience in Beloit, because we've got friends and people that we work with up in Beloit. How did you enjoy your time up there? Because you are maybe not necessarily from the upper Midwest, but you're a Midwest kid, and that had to feel familiar for you after starting your professional career down in the swampy, humid backfields of Jupiter.
Yeah, it definitely felt more like home. Used to the cold, but yeah, people up there are awesome. The staff they have up there is awesome. Really good food, so I couldn't complain.
You didn't get much time here in Pensacola, but I know you're expecting to be here for most of the 2026 season until you get promoted on to AAA Jacksonville. What are you looking forward to in terms of spending time in Pensacola and settling in here a little bit more than you were allowed to last year?
Yeah, just kind of taking in the warm weather, which I love. I don't get much of that at home, but spending it with the guys and looking forward to a good year.
Beach guy, fishing guy?
I like to fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freshwater fish, probably.
Yeah.
Growing up? Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever been out in salt water to fish?
I've been a little bit in Jupiter.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. I didn't catch much, but it's pretty fun.
Much. Okay, well, hopefully you can catch something here in Pensacola. Let's turn our attention towards tonight's game and our opponent, the Montgomery Biscuits. Always, Montgomery fields a competitive team because the Rays think it's important to have quality minor league teams that are winning games. You will have gone through a progression, a pregame meeting with your catcher and your pitching coach. What do you know about Montgomery, a team that you did not get a chance to face last year in your time in Pensacola?
I don't know much about them right now. I played with a couple of them in the fall league. I know they're always a good team, and I'm going to have to be on my stuff.
I'll ask you instead then to scout your teammates. We haven't seen them since late last year, if at all, but you have been down on the backfields in spring training, getting reps in with your teammates. Who that the Blue Wahoos fans might not know yet should they become familiar with?
Probably Dylan Lewis. That guy can swing it. Those Yankees guys are pretty good. They can all swing it.
Dylan Lewis, Spencer Jones, Dylan Hasso, and then Christian Hernandez coming over from the Cubs, a big offseason acquisition. You spend a lot of time, maybe not necessarily with the position players, but with your teammates on the rotation and the pitching staff. Some exciting guys, some exciting developments where everyone's kind of working on something, right?
Right.
So of all the stories that you heard from your teammates, who has you intrigued to see what new pitch or what new approach they can integrate into the 2026 season?
Oh, yeah, probably baby bro, Jacob Miller. He's throwing a little harder this year, so excited to see him throw.
Have you been chasing velocity, or are you pretty comfortable throwing where you're at?
Yeah, I think you're always chasing velocity, but just kind of keeping things simple, working in the zone, and trusting the stuff.
All right. Well, we have a pretty exciting game coming up here tonight. Before I let you go, I would like to ask you, what your goals are for the 2026 season. Because for the fans, of course, they want to see a Blue Wahoos championship. For the front office, we want to provide our fans with memorable experiences. What are your goals for 2026?
Yeah, I think the goal is always to go out there and compete and win. Keeping it simple.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
How about individual goals? Where would you like to see by the end of 2026 where Karson Milbrandt is?
Hopefully debuting.
Debuting, all right. Any previous teammates that you think, have that model to follow? You mentioned Sandy Alcantara, but you never actually played with him.
Right.
Guys that you've come up through the minors with that you've been able to relate to over the time?
He was here last year with Thomas White.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the guy's a stud. So.
You were teammates with Thomas White in Beloit. He was gone to AAA by the time he came here. But what does Thomas White do well that you've tried to emulate?
I think just the way he carries himself. He's got a bulletproof mentality. No matter what's happening out there, he's always the same guy.
I can tell you this, Thomas White never did a 12-minute interview with me before opening day. So I appreciate you joining us here.
Thanks
and
for having me.
any message to the Blue Wahoos fans before we embark on the 2026 season?
There's going to be a lot of winning, so hopefully to see you guys here.
Hopefully, starting tonight, we'll be watching Wahoos wins here at Blue Wahoos Stadium. You can follow us all season long. We'll be airing this weekly show at 5:30 on Blab TV, whether the team is at home or on the road. But in cases like tonight, when the team is at home, you can stay tuned to Blab TV, and we'll be watching Blue Wahoos baseball beginning at 6 o'clock. It'll be Charlie Hobart and myself on the call as we begin the 2026 season here in beautiful Pensacola, Florida. Thanks for watching Wahoos Weekly. Blue Wahoos baseball is coming up next.